Princess Lyara of the Silithian Empire paced the balcony of the Celestin Citadel, her eyes scanning the endless expanse of stars that stretched like silver threads across the void. The Empire had always prided itself on knowledge, strategy, and the unmatched might of its warriors. Yet, despite all her studies and training, Lyara carried a secret unease, a gnawing feeling that some hidden force was shaping her, destiny beyond her control. For centuries, the Silithians had spoken of the legend of the linked mate, a bond that transcended worlds and species. It was a rare connection, formed not by choice but by fate, and only those whose souls were intertwined could awaken its power. Many dismissed it as myth, a tale told to inspire loyalty and wonder among young nobles. Lyara, however, had always sensed it was more than a story. Her contemplation was interrupted by a commotion in the central court. A delegation of human warriors had arrived at the citadel under urgent orders. Humans were rare in these parts, and even rarer were their emissaries who traveled alone, carrying both curiosity and a reputation for extraordinary resilience. Among them was a human named Kale, a warrior who had earned recognition across multiple star systems for his courage and strategic brilliance. Lyara observed him from the balcony, noting his calm yet vigilant demeanor. Something about him seemed familiar, though she could not pinpoint why. When Kale approached the throne chamber, his presence alone seemed to shift the energy in the room. Guards who had been tense moments before now relaxed slightly. As if some invisible acknowledgement passed between them, the council presented Kale's mission: an alliance with the humans to counter the encroaching threat of the Verith swarm, a hive-minded species that consumed entire planets in their relentless expansion. Despite initial skepticism, Lyara agreed to observe him closely. She had always been cautious with strangers, particularly humans, who were often underestimated by her people. During the initial strategy sessions, Lyara was struck by Kale's approach. He was uncommonly observant, noticing details others overlooked. His tactical suggestions were bold yet precise, combining human unpredictability with an intuition that seemed almost alien. The council listened politely, but dismissed some of his insights. Lyara, however, felt a deeper resonance. One evening, as the citadel's artificial sun dimmed to a soft orange, Lyara decided to walk among the gardens alone. She needed clarity. The gardens were a labyrinth of alien flora, luminescent blooms that pulsed gently in the low light. She sensed Kale approaching before she heard him, as if a silent thread had drawn him near. "Princess Lyara," he said, bowing slightly out of respect. "I did not wish to intrude." "Your presence is not an intrusion," Lyara replied. Her voice was calm, but her heart betrayed a hint of anticipation. "There is something unusual about you. I feel it, though I cannot explain it." Kale studied her carefully, the corner of his mouth lifting in a faint smile. "You are not the only one feeling it," he said. "I've traveled far and faced dangers unimaginable, yet when I arrived here, it felt as though the stars themselves guided me to you." Lyara froze. The sensation she had dismissed as intuition now had a name: destiny. The stories of the linked mate spoke of recognition beyond reason, a connection so profound it could not be ignored. Could it be true that this human warrior was the one foretold in the ancient texts? Over the next days, Lyara sought every opportunity to learn more about Kale. They trained together in the simulation arenas, his human reflexes complementing her alien agility. Their minds met in strategy sessions, each challenging the other to think beyond conventional tactics. Slowly, Lyara began to notice subtle signs, the way their instincts aligned, the unspoken understanding in their movements, and the quiet comfort that seemed to radiate when they were near each other. It was during a routine patrol of the Citadel's upper spires that the truth fully revealed itself. Kale had leaped across a wide chasm, his landing precise, and Lyara found herself instinctively guiding him mid-air with a subtle, mental push-a connection she had never consciously used before. Shocked, she stepped back and whispered, "It is true. It cannot be anything else." Kale turned to her, eyes wide with recognition. "Liara," he said, his voice soft yet firm. "I felt it too. From the moment I saw you, I sensed something, like a tether in my soul pulling me toward you." The realization was overwhelming. They were linked mates, their bond bridging species and worlds. Liara's pulse quickened, her mind racing with possibilities. The legend spoke of unity and power when linked mates joined forces. If they could harness this connection, perhaps the Silithians and humans together could turn the tide against the Varith swarm. Yet the revelation also brought doubt. The Varith swarm was advancing faster than anticipated. Any hesitation or emotional distraction could endanger not only their alliance, but entire star systems. Liara needed to be cautious, but the bond between them now pulsed with undeniable clarity. They spent the following days in rigorous preparation, training and meditating together, exploring the depth of their connection. Every shared thought, every synchronized movement strengthened the invisible bond. Liara marveled at the way their minds could communicate silently, coordinating strategies that neither could achieve alone. Kale, for his part, found a sense of peace he had never known, as if a missing part of himself had finally returned. The first encounter with the Varith swarm came sooner than expected. A fleet of monstrous ships, bristling with energy weapons and biological drones, emerged from a nearby nebula. A council was quick to deploy Silithian and human fleets, but the coordination faltered under the swarm's sheer numbers. Liara and Kale took command of a joint strike force. The moment they linked minds, a wave of clarity washed over both of them. They moved as one, predicting enemy maneuvers, countering attacks, and coordinating reinforcements with unparalleled precision. Human ingenuity combined with Silithian technology created tactics that the swarm had never encountered. During the battle, Liara realized the true power of their connection. Kale's instincts guided her as if they shared a single body. Her insights enhanced his decisions. They were not just allies, they were extensions of each other, a force multiplied by unity. The fleet rallied under their combined command, pushing back the swarm with astonishing effectiveness. When the battle ended, the field littered with the remains of the enemy. Liara finally allowed herself to breathe. She turned to Kale, gratitude and something deeper shining in her eyes. "Together, we are stronger than anyone could imagine," she said. Kale nodded, his hand brushing hers in a gesture both human and profoundly intimate. "I have never known strength like this," he admitted. "Not just in battle, but in knowing that we are bound beyond choice, beyond reason. We are linked, and together we can face anything." Word of their bond spread quickly through the Empire. The Silithians, initially skeptical of human warriors, began to respect not only Kale's skill, but also the profound connection that now united the two species. Humans were no longer distant allies, they were partners, equals in strategy and in spirit. Liara and Kale continued to train, plan, and explore their link, understanding that the fate of countless worlds depended on their unity. The linked mate bond was rare, perhaps unique, but it offered them insights no one else could access. The humans' resilience and creativity, combined with the princess's intelligence and agility, made them an unstoppable team dot as months passed. The Silithian Empire and its human allies grew stronger. Skirmishes with the Varith swarm continued, but the combined forces were now capable of coordinated, decisive victories. Liara often reflected on how destiny had brought Kale into her life, not merely as an ally, but as her linked mate, a partner whose presence elevated her own abilities and inspired confidence throughout the Empire got in quiet moments. Away from strategy sessions and battlefields, Liara and Kale would stand together on the balcony of the Citadel, gazing at the stars. They spoke little, for words were often unnecessary. The bond between them communicated more than language ever could. Each star, each planet, seemed to affirm that their meeting was not chance, but fate, a truth as enduring as the universe itself. One evening, the council summoned them for a ceremonial acknowledgement of their bond. While tradition dictated certain formalities, the ceremony was more than ritual. It was an official recognition of a partnership that transcended species, a beacon for all who witnessed it. As Lyra and Kale stood side by side, hands brushing, the room erupted in applause. All eyes and council members alike understood the significance. The future of the Empire was now entwined with that of humanity, and the power of the linked mate bond was a promise of hope. Lyra's heart swelled with emotion. No longer was she just a princess burdened with duty. She was part of a unity that could change the fate of countless worlds. Beside her, Kale mirrored her resolve, his presence a source of strength and certainty. They had discovered the truth. He was her linked mate, and together they were unstoppable. As the stars continued to shine beyond the citadel, Lyra felt the full weight and wonder of destiny. She understood that the legends were real, that bonds could transcend worlds and species, and that the human warrior before her was more than an ally. He was her other half, the key to the survival and triumph of both their peoples. And so, with the truth revealed and their bond, you,